Café Anyway. What?
Mike's Daily Podcast.
I ask the question what a lot, but maybe it's because I am curious like a cat.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
It's episode 2752. It's Mike Matthews. How are you? We're here at Café Anyway, and you are probably singing along with me because you know these words as well as I do because there are no words. The words are no words. That's the words on
Mike's Daily Podcast.
That's right. Café Anyway, somewhere in Podcastro Valley, Mont. The last place on earth. And
Mike's
the last
Daily
podcast. Or maybe it was the podcast before that.
Yeah!
It was more of a podcat in the podcast picture. Actually, we have a podcat in the Mike's podcast picture today. Yes. Exciting, isn't it? Let's see. The last one was of, I think that beach, Mavericks Beach, which I went to many times with the late great Basil the Boxer. Oh no, wait, we went once. Half Moon Bay we went to many times. But Mavericks, you got to walk all the way out to this point. And that's why it's cool. It's because it's way out there and the views are amazing. I took my lovely lady friend there once. And it was shortly after we lost Basil, so it was nice to remember him and to go out there and see just such a beautiful spot for all the stuff they say about California. All the negative things. You really cannot beat some of the views that we have. Okay, yeah, maybe Hawaii, maybe parts of Florida, maybe parts of Washington or Georgia. Whatever. My point is, nothing is quite like California. And that's why maybe some people want to get the heck out of California. And maybe this would be a good place to talk about the migrations that are going on of people leaving and going to California.
And here's today's podcast picture.
I don't know. I don't think so. The podcast picture is of the wonderful cat Rocky. Rocky the cat and I at a brewery in San Leandro called Drake's Brewing Company. They've been around a while. I remember when they weren't really even allowing people in to taste the beer, to test the beer. It's only been within the past 15 years that they're starting to they have a huge area now, and it's just a wonderful. And there's the late great Basil the Boxer, who also went with me there many times. And there are lots of dog owners there. So to bring a cat to a place where there's a lot of dog owners, it's interesting. So, well, what about people that are leaving California? Are we losing? Or are we getting more immigration? The illegal immigration. What is this? Climate migration. As sea levels rise by multiple feet in the coming decades, this is according to Grist. It's a website, I guess. Isn't that the stuff that when you're making when you're grinding up the grain, you get grist, right? When you grind up the grain to make the beer? I don't know. These are things that I should know here at Café Anyway. But we just drink root beer here. That's why we act so silly. But as the sea levels rise by multiple feet in the coming decades, this says, communities along the coastal United States will face increasingly frequent flooding from high tides and tropical storms. Thousands of homes will become uninhabitable or disappear underwater altogether. Think about that for a moment. Wow. All your life you wanted to live right by the beach. Oh, the beach. Oh, the views, the sunsets, all of what I was just talking about. And then the beach, the ocean, the mighty Pacific reclaims what once belonged to it. and your house is now part of the Pacific. There goes my coffee table floating away. Actually, my coffee table would never float away because it's a travertine coffee table. It is heavy. If I want to move it, and see, I'm kind of a... No, I'm not kind of. And please stop using the hedge words. Stop with the kinda and the sort of and the maybe. Stop it. I had to turn off this one YouTube channel that I enjoy watching. This guy, he goes to Epcot, shows you around. Oh, this is the new thing they did at Epcot. They got rid of this, and look, there's this new park. It's really nice. Look. Oh, he said something really stupid, along with all the hedging that he does. You can kind of sort of come here and you can work. He said you could come to Epcot, sit in the park, and work. Okay, do you know how much it costs to get into Epcot now? It was like $60 when I went back in, when was that? The 10s or the O's, the 2000s. It was $60 or $70. Now it's got to be well over $100. And I'm gonna sit there and do work on my laptop. This guy, and he uses hedge words big time, and he's got this big YouTube channel. Everybody watches him. He's probably got a huge TikTok thing too, but I don't dare touch TikTok. No touching the TikTok. Nuh-uh. So he's in Florida, and people in these communities, the risks are poised to drive migration away from places like Miami, Florida, New Orleans, and toward inland areas that face less danger from flooding. You know.
Try to game me. No.
But the migration won't happen in a uniform manner because migration never does. In a large part, this is because young adults move around much more than elderly people, since the former have better job prospects.
Oh my God, man. Jeez.
As we go outside of Café Anyway, where we bring you Mike's Daily Podcast somewhere in Podcastro Valley,
Anyway,
the last place on earth. We're going to get a lot of rain tonight in Podcastro Valley, Mont, and I will probably have to use the vacuum that sucks up the water, and that gosh, very useful. I had to use it last weekend.
you ready?
But that's part of enjoying what the climate has to do. It's likely that this time-tested trend will hold true as Americans migrate away from climate disasters. The phenomenon has already been observed in places like New Orleans, where elderly residents were less likely to evacuate during Hurricane Katrina back in 2005, and in Puerto Rico, where the median age has jumped since 2017's Hurricane Maria. I was there after... Was that 2017? Oh, that's right. So I did go visit my mom just before that hit. There was a hurricane that hit, was it Matthew? Hurricane Matthew? That also hit in 2017. And I visited her the week after it hit. And that's where I saw how Florida, they, say what you will about Florida, but they have an amazing system for after hurricane repair and cleanup. They are on it. They're fixing power lines. They're getting the water, the places that are flooded. They're having you, and everything floods. Oh my gosh!
Now that's legit.
That was the last time I visited my mom, my late mother, in 2021, late 2021. I visited her, and there was a downpour. And I'm driving, and the water is just hitting the bottom of the car. We're practically submerged. And all that stuff I hear about, don't chance it. Don't go through water. Stay alive. Don't drive through water. Whatever they say, that thing that rhymes, that helps you remember not to drive through water. Flood. If it's flood, stay away. Stay alive, and don't go into flooded areas. That doesn't rhyme either. Okay. Whatever it was, she's like, yeah, this part doesn't drain off. There's no storm drains. in this part of Florida where we were out on Ponce Inlet, which is this peninsula that just goes out. And the ways in and out of that Ponce Inlet, there's just nowhere for the water to drain. So what we should have done is just stopped. It was one of my last trips in a car with my mom.
It's Bison Bentleys. Do you know that?
Hey, this is Bison Bentley, and Mike Matthews has a couple of stories that'll make you want to ask yourself, do you know that? Do you know that? Do you know that? The median age has jumped since 2017's Hurricane Maria as young people leave the U.S. territory for the mainland states. So things will be different. A new paper published in the prestigious Proceedings of the National Academy of Science offers a glimpse at the shape and scale of this demographic shift as climate change accelerates. Using sea level rise models and migration data gleaned from the latest U.S. Census, the paper projects that out-migration from coastal areas could increase the median age in those places by as much as 10 years over the course of the century. And that is why I live inland in Podcaster Valley, where we're not actually... I'm kind of on a hill. I don't see this particular part of where we live, the East Bay, to get flooded. But the Bay Area, it's all pretty much fair game. Since it is called the Bay Area, there is a bay. Well, speaking of Disney, the company's slump is due to a structural shift the CEO can weather but can't change. Disney owns some of history's most lucrative entertainment franchises. It's got Pixar, it's got Star Wars, it's got Marvel. Disney's present slump is owed to the fact power has moved from the studios to the viewers.
Good morning, Mr. Matthews.
Cost cutting at Disney risks underfeeding a fickle streaming audience. The 2019 purchase of television and film assets from 21st Century Fox, that cost $71 billion. Not long ago, more than 80% of U.S. households paid monthly for channels they wanted, bundled together with ones they didn't, and were peppered with commercials. But now, the catalyst for change, which was Netflix lured viewers into leaving their cable bundles. Then 3 years ago, Disney was targeting 260 million Disney Plus subscribers. Right now, it only has 150 million, down from 164 million a year earlier. This year, Disney will spend $10 billion in content for Disney's legacy television networks and its streaming services. By comparison, Netflix will spend that plus $7 billion. Yes, $17 billion on content for its single streaming service. The good news is the parks. They have turned into powerful earners, and people want real-life experiences. And people are watching the people that do the YouTube channels and the TikTok channels there in Disney.
Anarchy! I don't even know what that means, but I love it!
And let's not forget Universal. And Universal is putting so much money into their Epic Universe thing that they're doing. And then there is Lionsgate has a amusement park. Is this true? I did not know that. The people that do Hunger Games, they've got some amusement parks too around the world. I was not aware of that. But see, these big companies that create quote unquote content, the word I hate so much, they're gonna, if they're really successful, they create amusement parks or places to spend more money. That guy who rules YouTube, and that's very unnerving that his name is Beast, but yes, it's very revelation right there. So he can start an amusement park called Beastland. Although I hope he's more like the Beast from the X-Men.
The Pam Baumgartner Files.
Wow, that's wild.
Files.
Credit card travel rewards. It's difficult to accumulate miles on travel rewards credit cards. That is true. I dropped mine years ago. I had one, I think through American Express, and it gave you travel rewards, but we used them mainly for hotels. But it says here, this from Rob Black. I produce his podcast, The Rob Black Show. He does a local radio show in the Bay Area, weekday mornings on AM 1220 KDOW, and then he's also on television on KRON Monday through Thursday in the 9 o'clock hour. He says airlines usually make it a combination of miles flown and dollars spent on the credit card. People spend a lot of mental energy trying to figure out how to get the miles and points. Many people get miles and points but never use them. Eventually they expire. Worthless. That happened to me with Southwest. Now, I didn't pay for the miles. I just paid for the using Southwest, and getting the miles was an added bonus. But then all of a sudden one day I found out they were gone because I hadn't flown in over a year. Delta, last I heard, lets you keep the miles and you can just rack them up. I think I used them to get magazines. And that's, oh, wow, what a ripoff that is. Yeah, I'm going to clutter my house with more of these nice fancy papers that are so slick and give you wonderful paper cuts. And their pictures, and it's just basically most of those magazines are all ads anyway. But many people get miles and points but never use them. And Rob says, I make a point of using the points. And he says the math is 100 points is worth roughly $1 in benefits. You spend $20,000 to get 20,000 points that are worth $200. But you're paying 20% interest on that balance, which comes out to $4,000 a year. If you carry a balance for even 1 month, it completely negates the benefits of the points. So, Rule 1 for travel rewards credit cards, never carry a balance on your credit cards. And Rule 2, remember you're not getting free stuff. If you book a trip to Miami, you will still have to get Ubers, hotels, and restaurants.
Note to self.
And he points out, have you ever seen a credit card company advertise the lowest interest rates? No. They don't say that. They don't mention interest rates. I think they do when they're trying to get you to switch over to them. I've seen that, but Subway has added 3 new foot-long items to their menu. None of them are sandwiches. They are cookies, churros, and pretzels, all foot-long, costing between $2 and $3. And Joe Biden is still going after those overdraft fees. His new proposal could cut overdraft fees charged by banks that would drop to as low as under $3. $3 and under.
Mike Matthews? You not know Mike Matthews.
Uh-huh.
Really?
Eminem.
We criticize Joe Biden a lot. Well, if you're a Republican or a conservative talk show host who criticize Joe Biden daily, that's your job.
That's enough. Put down the mic.
When he's gone, like now, Trump, everybody that wants Trump back is like, well, when Trump was president, this was good and that was good and the other thing was good. We weren't in a war with Russia, da-da-da-da-da.
Eminem. We got Eminem. The real Eminem.
There you go.
But when Biden is gone, we're going to be, remember when he cut down on those overdraft fees? I really hate overdraft fees. I'm glad somebody noticed it. It took a crotchety old man. Oh, that's ageist. That took somebody who was a little bit older and mature that knows that overdraft fees suck to go after them. Well, perhaps you're young. Perhaps you're in college. OpenAI announced their first partnership with Arizona State University. So Arizona State University is going to have full access to ChatGPT Enterprise, and they plan to use it for coursework, tutoring, research, and more. Oh, and we were talking about Drinksky or Drizzly. Is that what it is? The company that
Burgermaster
Uber has purchased. That was they purchased them a while ago at their peak, and now they're just basically going to disband it. It's going to be no more. But they bought it for over $1 billion. Well, people were still drinking in the month of January. It was not a dry January. A lot of people are trying to kick alcohol. Personally, I love going to get a beer I used to go get a beer with my dog, but I would limit it to one. And nowadays, it's like once in a great while, I'll ask my lovely lady friend, do you want to get a beer? And if she says no, it's done. No, I'm not. She goes, go ahead and go and get one, by yourself. No, I'm not like George Thorogood. I do not like to drink alone.
I can't believe
I do not prefer to be by myself. So
what the hell is this place anyway?
That is a good thing. It's really any reason not to drink alcohol is good. It says here 41% of alcohol drinkers said they were somewhat to very likely to participate in dry January, but only 16% did. Outside of Café Anyway, somewhere in Podcastro Valley, looks here now. Looks
Podcast.
at who's here.
Hi, Mike Matthews. It's Chely Shoehart, Gift Shop Supervisor. I have these wonderful snow globes.
Yes, I see you sell snow globes in the gift shop of the Café Anyway.
That's right, Mike Matthews. I've been doing that for a long time.
And there's water in those snow globes, right? It's not alcohol?
Mike Matthews, I can't disclose what the fluid is inside those snow globes, Mike Matthews.
Could it be something that we don't want to know about? Could it be something like if the snow globe breaks, might eat through our skin, our flesh, and make us know more?
Mike Matthews, I can't go into that right now on this live podcast, Mike Matthews.
It's Mike's Daily Podcast.
Oh, is that what it is? Okay. I thought I might be on Joe Rogan's show, but I guess I'm not.
You're not. Sorry. Look who else is here. Oh, Mike, this is Floyd the Floorman. And this is John Deere, the engineer. Mike, all that was fascinating stuff that you covered today. I sure hope you don't get covered by water and drown. Thank you. Yes, I hope I don't either. I do not want to get covered by water or beer for that matter either. But oh well. If you would like to comment on the content, I hate that. Or if you would like to say anything, you can call this number.
Call Mike at the Café Anyway hotline. Area code 510-228-4640.
And thank you for listening to episode 2752. And with more ways to get immersed in the Mike's Daily Podcast world in the Café Anyway land, Podcastro Valley, Mont, the last place on earth, Ameritopica. More ways to find out about all of that. Here is a friend.
Mike's Daily Podcast is written and produced and performed by Mike Matthews. His podcast is super easy to find. Download or listen to his show and read his blog at mikesdailypodcast.com. Email Mike now at mikesdailypodcast@gmail.com. See you tomorrow. Bye.